say enough to go to the ground.
Okay, so this is another solution. This is what we do in America. Now I'm getting there. When you design a new house, make sure that the roof you are making is not metal. I've seen a lot of roof here metal. So don't use
asbestos. We have asbestos. We have asbestos.
metal.
We have asbestos.
You mean like zinc?
You should use no, you should not use any metal like aluminum, even not even aluminum, but you should try to use either a clay tiles or a concrete tiles. I know it is expensive, but I'm just throwing what is right. And it will come back to you. The next thing is that what we have done in one of the house, or now in New Mexico, in America, is getting common. When rain comes, we collect the water. We don't put it on the ground. So we collect that water. It goes into the storage tank. From the storage tanks, we have a filter. So it goes to the filter. One of the filter, I forgot, it's called magnetic removal field or something. But it goes to 3 filter, and then that water comes into the house, and it is so fresh. And it's better than the water I'm getting on my tap. So that is another way you might have to approach. Before water goes to the ground, you take it in your house, and maybe that's the solution. So, but we already do that in many houses. People, they do not because they have a scarcity of water, but one, they don't like the government water, and number 2, they don't want to rely on anybody. They want to be independent. So they go and use it. Right, you can put the tank in the base of the house also. I've done that also in Fairfield, and there is a guy who has an entire house is a tank. Maybe it's overkilling, but overkilling is too much. Because it's really big tank. I mean, and then he had to do it like 9-inch concrete wall, and he had to do waterproofing outside, and it's so much money spent.
But what influence does if you have the water all in the bottom of the basement of your house?
Right. Right. Now, so far, what we found in Vastu, that water is not harmful. Although now we have to go to Ayurveda, and that is where we can't spend much time, but those who are kapha body type, should not have a water below their house.
But like the kitchen is there is the place should be fire, and in the basement we have water. What influence does that
relationship? Right, but that is where the pitta people are, that is where the kapha people are in more trouble. Because kapha people must have pitta going better, and if it's not going better, then the water produces kapha quality, and that kapha quality. But I agree, you are mixing 2 things at one point. That's what your question is, and Vastu is not very clear on that. Let's put it like this: Vastu is saying that it's okay for pitta, it's okay for vata, but not for kapha. Alright, so that's the answer I can give. Good point, very good point here. So, was there any other topic left, or this was the last one? I don't know. Let's see the... Oh, design steps. Good. I think we can cover that. Sorry for this. How you start the process? The way you start the process about designing the building is Magda. Magda is an architect here. By the way, I would like to officially introduce her, that she is prepared to work with me on this island. We can collaborate with her. We will do some conceptual design. She will do construction document. She will do site visit. She will collaborate everything with you. So anybody who want to do consultation, design consultation, or at least direct design project. She will become your local architect. Will be we do internationally. We have built a house in New Zealand, in Australia, in London, in India, and obviously in many states of America and Canada. So we work internationally. So we have everything. She will be also ready, if not in terms of how we connect computers and all those things. So if you are looking for an architect, she can be liaison or connector between us. But she will be in charge of your building in terms of building code and planning codes, whatever you have here, and Vastu, because she is getting more and more Vastu as we go by. And we want you to see that she becomes the expert in this town. So she will work for foundation also, and so all this work will happen through foundation, through her, and we would like to see that more people start using this knowledge if you are really hot on that one. So let's see it happen. So steps. Step number 1, select a Vedic architect. You should have either Vedic architect locally, or you should have people like me away, but you should also have a local architect so they connect each other. See, Vastu knowledge you can apply on a small way in your existing house, but when you are designing a house, there is a lot more involved in terms of many other things than the Vastu. For example, the structure of the building, how the building is going to stand, right? Somebody has to think about it, how his building is going to stand. What's happened to the roof? Where the load of the roof is going to go on the wall, where the column will go, if there are column is going to go. How you open the window, you have to put something on the top to make sure that the load doesn't come down where the opening is. So all these structural element, architects designs, right? So you need that. Then your heating system and cooling system, architects designs. So then your landscape and layout, again, you have to go back to architect, how you put your road or driveway or all those things. And even architect will start from the day one, where when you're selecting a land, and she's going to be more familiar as we go by, so she can come to your land and say, let's look at land together, and then you can tell her that, look, this is what we are looking, and she says, okay, as much she is aware, she will tell you yes, and she needs us, she will send us something in our office, and we'll say, okay, this is do and don't do, and this is fine or that is not fine. So from selection of the land is very important that you appoint an architect. Okay. So then, proper Jyotish chart and Jyotish or Vedic astrologer. Now, when you're designing a new house, the overall length and the width of the house is calculated with a Vedic formula. And remember, I told you that all the numerical number of constellation and numerical number of planets, it has to go into those 7, 8 formula. And if you do a custom home like you designed with her, then we can go precisely that your house is based on your Jyotish chart. Now, how Jyotish chart is created? Jyotish chart is created by having your birth time, birthplace, and a birth date. So we take your birth time, birthplace, and birth date and create a chart. And that's your cosmic chart. That's the cosmos blueprint in which you were born. So we take that in account, and then we take a mathematical calculation, create your length and width of the house. And then from that point, we can go further and then design all inside the house. So you need that chart. You have to prepare that chart for you, number 3. Number 4, Vedic architect will prepare the land, Vastu, cosmic design. Now, some land which has a slope to the south, or some land which has a slope to the west. Now, architect will come to your land and say, okay, let's do the filling. So I chop some part of the land and fill some part of the land, and then you make a level. And once you have a level, and level has to be within, not house, within the Vastu fence. Every house will have a Vastu fence. And within the Vastu fence, you have a level land, and in that level land, now you can put the house in that. So again, it's very important to have an architect, because where there is a filled land, if it's not compact well, And if you put a house on that, house may slide down, right? So it's important that you start beginning with the architect. Number 4 is location of proposed house will be decided by the Vedic architect. So again, I told you that when you do the cut and fill of the land to make it level, then we have to make sure that it's well compacted and where you put the house. Vedic architect will prepare the house Vastu diagram. So remember we talked about that diagram which has a 28 constellation and then planets and everything. So we will create that diagram in our office, or she will join working with us, we'll create together, and then we decide which planet is sitting in your birth time cosmos, and then we can lay down. If you want to do it custom, then we can. What we talked so far, it was generic. Now I'm talking more about making it custom. If you hire an architect, then you can do it more custom. So Vedic architect will prepare the house and master diagram. Vedic architect will prepare conceptual design with a plan and elevation. So again, architect has to do several types of drawings. He has to do drawings, foundation plan, he has to do elevation looking from outside, he has to do building sections, he has to do wall detail, he has to do roof detail, he has to do the heating system, cooling system, how it's going to lay down, where the duct will go. So there are lots of principles involved with the Vastu, where you put the duct and where you don't put the duct. Like one of the things about heating and cooling this gentleman is doing his new house. Under-floor heating system is the best system for heating. Under-floor heating system. It's called radiant heating. Radiant?
You don't need that here.
Need cooling.
No?
No,
Need
no,
a
no.
cooling.
Oh, you don't do cooling? We did a cooling, but no heating.
No heating.
Oh, you are fortunate. Yeah, you do. You save money. That's why they charge you so much on electricity. So I'm not joking. So in terms of cooling, let's talk a couple of things. There is a material named aerated blocks. I don't know whether you guys have here in this part of the world yet. You have aerated blocks? Aerated blocks it's a concrete block. It has a 80% air and 20% concrete.
Yeah, we have it. Yeah,
It's a white color.
In the middle, open.
Well, that's a one type, but this is a one which has no opening in the middle. But it's porous. It's hollow. It's like there are very small hole in there. Right, it's not compact. It's not compact, right? Do you have that block available?
Blocks are made from sand, small stones, and they compact it
Right.
for a block.
Right,
So
but that
it's
is a
not
concrete block.
completely solid.
Okay, but the aerated block is they use very refined sand and cement.
But it also has stones.
No, very little, but they have a many air pocket in that. So what it does is that they come in 9-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch thickness. Or if you don't have, use the concrete block. But when you use a concrete block, make a thick wall. Thick means as much as 12-inch, 14-inch, 16-inch. Why? Because when morning, and I saw you guys, I come from very cold part of the US. When I open my door in morning 6:30 where I have an apartment, it's a hot air coming to me with the air conditioned room inside which is 72 degrees. But outside, you guys have already early morning 6 o'clock like 85 degrees, right? So, how you handle this? Because your inside is not outside. So the way you do is that in order to use less air conditioning, right? So you put less electricity, use thick mass wall, like 9-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch wall. So what it does is that it takes almost 8 hours to pass the heat into the wall. By the time it's evening, now temperature inside is hot and outside is cold because nights are cold, I think. So the heat starts going out. heat always travels where there is a less temperature than the heat temperature, okay? So idea is that wall will get hot, but you won't feel hot inside. And because you don't feel hot inside, you don't use air conditioning. Alright, so it's again, this is all is about putting initially more money, but in a long term, you save the money.
I think different with the other blocks that have that are not massive, yeah, that have a hole in the middle.
Yeah.
That air that they have in the middle don't leave the warm from the outside come to the cool from inside. That is most cost efficient. Yeah, that's the bigger of thin
Right.
wall.
The only thing is that I think they have to put reinforcement, they have to put metal.
Yes, yes.
That's not good.
The metal is not good there.
No. And now we are going to Vastu now.
Yeah.
Because Vastu says not to put the metal, and that's, yeah, we do that also in the United States. Not we, but in the US they do. They put reinforcement in a hollow between the concrete. If you don't want to use concrete, you can use stone. And I know stone is going to be expensive.
Yeah.
Brick is also expensive. Okay, okay. But another thing you can do is this, that you can do the wall outside 4-inch or 5-inch concrete block. Inside you create a formwork. Formwork means like a wooden form. Then fill that part with a clay. So it's called earth wall. Literally clay. We done that. And so it's called rammed earth, right? And we put the earth in there. So now the wall is thick. Plus it's earth. That's the best insulation you can have. So it will take time to travel the heat inside. So, and it's good for your body because remember I said our body is also part of the earth. And now you have an earth wall around your house. In India, most of the middle class and poor houses are done with clay. People think those who are rich, they think that, it's a clay house. How poor they are. But they don't realize that is the best house than the house they built with concrete. Because concrete house is not that. Another thing about concrete I'm concerned is that now new research has come out that concrete takes away electrical energy from our body. So when you have a concrete floor only, if you put the tiles, that is good. But if it's only concrete floor, if you are working on that, you lose your electrical energy from your body, it sucks it out. So it's not good. If you try and see, if you are having a concrete wall open, you live one day in that, and you will feel very tired in the evening, more tired than normally other houses. And the part of the reason is because it drains your electricity from your body very, very fast. So.
The concrete will do.
Sorry?
The iron in the concrete?
The concrete itself does this.
Oh.
Concrete itself. But iron does this. Remember we talked about local magnetic field. So what it does, it interferes with our electric energy. But concrete pulls the energy from our body. Now this is a new research, it just came out, and I'm still going to be validated, so don't take this seriously, but I'm just throwing something here. So that if you are using a concrete block, what I'm saying is that use a good plaster inside, right, and then good plaster outside, so that you are not directly faced with a concrete block, but you have some plaster in between. So, second. Wood. Do you make house in wood here?
Not so much, not so much.
Not so much, okay. I heard that in a tropical climate, if you make a wood house, then you get a lot of termites. Right? Is that true? Okay. So because I was involved in one of the islands, we were designing a community near Australia, and we wanted to use wooden houses. And they said, no, you can't, because the termites is a big problem. It goes to the ground, into the building, and then you can't get rid of them. So, unless you can do something like this, that you build a wall coming out up to 3 feet, which is made out of concrete. Then you put the wood framing, That will work because right now you're, am I right? Is it true or right?
Yeah.
So make a 3 feet wall or 2 feet wall coming out of the ground which is concrete. Then you put a wooden structure. Now if you do a wooden structure, still what you have to do is that you have to put insulation in between the studs. We call studs, like 2 by 4 inch studs. Now that insulation should not be fiberglass. If anybody has a fiberglass, they should start selling their house. Because fiberglass is the most worst insulation you can have. It's the best U value, they call, but it's the worst insulation because fiber flies in air. When you run air condition, you breathe them and your respiratory systems goes berserk. So fiberglass is no good. There is a cotton insulation we buy in the US. It's made out of reusable jeans pen. They take a jean, we have a lot of jean pens we throw away in the United States. And so they recycle them and they make a cotton insulation out of it. And that is what we put now between the studs of the wall. And the second insulation is a wool insulation. It's a raw wool. They use to make a roll, and then they put a roll between the studs, and that is non-toxic. So wood and wool, if you use a wood, and if you are using a concrete, I still advise that you do something inside, maybe a wooden frame or something, so that you are not exposing to the concrete directly to your body, because concrete is in a question unless you get that aerated block.
I'm going to bring tomorrow a little piece of the block we use here. Because it's not like concrete. You don't build a house completely of concrete here.
Okay.
Just above the window, you put it's like a beam to hold the structure together.
Okay.
Just there you use the concrete and on the floor.
Okay. And then what do you make a wall with? Still
From the blocks.
From the blocks.
Yes, but
the blocks are
it's made
with
from sand, cement, and small stones.
Okay, so
We compress them and make a block.
So it's not a lot of cement in that. It's more sand and more stone. That's better. The more sand and more stone and less cement, it's a kind of block you should look for. Because the cement is the one is causing this problem. Not so much stone and sand.
Cement is something chemical.
It's chemical. It's a chemical, and sometimes they make cement out of fly ash, natural fly ash, which you find in mountain. They dig them out and they burn them at a very high temperature, so that you have a fly ash separated from the cement, and then they use the cement. But now they recommend to use fly ash than a cement actually, because now they found that fly ash is better. In London, that's what they do now. They use fly ash than they use the cement. Because cement has been considered to be more discharging your electrical energy from the body. You feel more tired every day walking in that building. So, do you have another slice, or I don't know? One more thing here is that the center of the house is called Brahmastan, the most calm and calm and cosmically connected place in the house. And the next one is, please. And all the doors and windows, proportions, placement will be based on Sthapatya. Again, this is something we can talk in the long course in afternoon. The color selection will be based. Color, we already talked about non-toxic. Everything non-toxic. Anytime you use building material, ask a question. Is it non-toxic or is it toxic? That's a question you should always ask when you are using any building material in your house, because you want to make sure that the more toxic, more you get hurt health-wise. And in fact, now we have a medical doctor. He comes to you and examine your body and say, okay, you have a respiratory problem, or you have a stomach problem, right? Digestion problem, or you have an intestine problem. They don't give you medicine immediately. Then they go into the house and take a sample of color, sample of wood, sample of floor, go in laboratory and find out what it contains, and then if they find any toxic material, any toxic chemical with which it was made of, then they know that problem in that body is nothing to do with the food, but it has to do with that building which is made of. So then they correct the building, not the patient. And patient gets corrected. You know what I'm saying? Now there might be some medicine they might be giving so that until the corrections are made, they don't suffer, they don't have pain. But main thing is problem lies in the building, not the patient. And then there is, but there are doctors now in US that they come and examine your house first and they don't give you medicine, but they said change the color or remove the plaster, put the new plaster, remove this wood or whatever they find. They advise you. So this is a new thing because government has not a good restriction on the building material. That's why we have a problem. Government don't have a good restriction in any government. No restriction on a medicine. In America, now we have a law that they advertise medicine and they tell you what's wrong as a side effect. When you hear that advertisement, and I get sick and tired of it, when you see that advertisement, they said, oh, this is a medicine, it's very good for your heart. You will not have a heart attack. You will prevent heart attack. Then the side effect is about it will create a heart attack. The side effect is about creating a heart attack, and the